Geography Now Lithuania. We are knocking off our final Baltic country here.
The brothers are finished, and after the Latvia video, we learned that Lithuania and Latvia are the most similar, but we're obviously still going to see quite a few differences because Latvia and Estonia were quite different. So obviously Lithuania is going to have its differences as well. So let's learn about the country here.
Let's jump right in. Here we go.
All right, everybody, we're finishing up the Baltics with our last Baltic country. If you didn't watch the Latvia episode, it basically goes like this.
Oh no.
Oh no. Estonia.
Welcome to the creepier Baltic sister, Lithuania.
He's going back to creepy Baltics.
It's time to learn geography.
Now! Everybody, I'm your host, Barbs. Okay, once again, I know some of you guys are kind of like, come on, Barbs, stop calling the two countries creepy. But my response to that was, it's kind of true. And it's not necessarily a bad thing if used in a charming way. Some people like creepy. I mean, just capitalize off of it.
Totally.
I mean, like Latvia made that prison hotel. Turkmenistan did that thing with the burning hole. Belize made bank off of whale vomit.
Who knew that stuff would be so expensive off the market anyway, huh? Cha-ching!
Okay, we need to get back to Lithuania.
How
Let's
do you
find
make
out where it
whale
is now,
vomit?
shall we?
I don't know. Tickle it in some way?
Now, Lithuania may be the largest Baltic country in size, but it kind of got the short end of the stick when it came to coastline. First of all, the country is located in the area of Europe known as the Baltic, which, no shocker, borders the Baltic Sea to the north. The nation is divided into 10 counties, with the capital Vilnius located in the south. They are also surrounded by 4 countries. Remember, this little chopped up exclave Kaliningrad belongs to Russia.
So would Kaliningrad be considered Baltic? Because it's on the Baltic Sea, or is it just Russian?
I guess it's just Russian. Do you think they'd just be their own country or just join Latvia or Lithuania, I mean, but I guess not. Or
In which
Poland.
they share this long, famous stretch of land known as the Curonian Spit, a 98-kilometer-long sandy barricade with dunes, about 54 kilometers of which belong to Lithuania, and it all effectively cuts off the entire Curonian Lagoon, except for this small opening at the port of Klaipėda. This is literally where almost all seabound shipping comes into Lithuania. I mean, come on, nobody's gonna deliver cargo at that dinky little dock at Palanga. So essentially, Russia has the bigger portion of the lagoon, but Lithuania has the only way out. We don't need. We have opening at Vistula Lagoon on Strait of Baltisk. It has funny looking Star Fortress thing to welcome you. Oh, Russia. I can't wait to do your episode. The largest cities after Vilnius are Kaunas and the city we just talked about, Klaipėda. And surprisingly, for such a small country, they actually have 4 international airports, the busiest in order being Vilnius, Kaunas, Palanga, and Šiauliai internationals. Now here's the thing, Lithuania is proud to claim that they, debatedly, have the geographical center of Europe. Like, they literally even built a monument and sculpture park next to showcase it.
Wow.
Nope.
Going to the center of Europe?
No.
Really? Hungary? Even you?
Yup. No.
No. I mean, the Guinness Book of World Records recognizes my village.
No.
Make of it what you will. The country doesn't really have any territorial anomalies or disputes except for kind of a maritime dispute with Latvia up north, something about oil reserves. Then there's that weird salient that
Always
juts
oil.
into Belarus. I think we already talked about that in the Belarus episode, did we? And let's not even get started on how Lithuania was like, I'm just gonna take this Dieveniškių Isturinis National Park from you guys, even if it does give me like a 1-mile wide corridor to reach it. Yeah, we did. Well, cool. I guess I don't have to discuss it. Minimal effort! Funny enough, there's a micronation in Lithuania, the Republic of Utspis, which is actually just another one of those bohemic, hippie-ish neighborhoods in the capital of Vilnius. They kind of wanted to be edgy and cool, much like Freetown Christiana that we studied in the Denmark
I went to
episode.
Christiana once.
Self-proclaimed but unrecognized autonomy is like so dope.
Lithuania does kind of have a dark past. I mean, they did play a huge role in the Holocaust during World War II. They had one of the most significant Jewish populations in Europe, once nicknamed the Jerusalem of the North. Nearly the entire population of about 250,000 was killed by Nazis with a huge massacre at Ponary. Many were sent to the HKP 562 forced labor camp in Vilnius. Today, various memorials and museums and exhibitions can be found to commemorate the incident. Also, due to the high emigration rate after joining the EU, many towns started to see houses and buildings and properties left unattended and decaying, like the Ignalia nuclear power plant, the Palace of Sports and Concerts, the Trade Unions building, the Plokštine nuclear launch site. Yeah, nuclear launch site. So yeah, that kind of sets the mood, right? Oh, and they also have a Devil's Museum and a KGB experience in a former Soviet bunker where you can pay to pretend to be a prisoner, getting yelled at and interrogated, complete with guard dogs and everything. Charming! Speaking of which, some places of interest might include, and keep in mind, I will not really pronounce these Baltic words because they're so hard, these castles, this monastery, the Liberty Boulevard, the Hill of Three Crosses, the Monument of the Victims of Fascism, the funicular railway of this place, the Museum for the Blind, the Cat Museum, the Museum of Illusions, the Frank Zappa Memorial, the Pan House, the Orvidas Garden, And finally,
Is
the
that
two most
hosting out of
iconic
Cairns?
cultural landmarks that might really
I
give you
hope
a
so.
feel of what Lithuania is all about. The Hill of Crosses, which has over 100,000 crosses, and nobody really knows why it got started that way. And even though the Vatican says it's a holy place full of power, the locals think it's kind of creepy. And the Hill of Witches, a sculpture park with sinister-looking carved wood images depicting characters from ancient Lithuanian folklore from back in the pagan days. So yeah, Lithuania is kind of like a weird pagan-y, Catholic-y, forest-loving, technology-advancing, but kind of reserved and overcast country. So much to cover. Let's start with those forests.
Or bogs.
Well, here we are again for the third time, explaining basically the same thing that we discussed in the Latvia and Estonia episodes. I know you're going to be tempted to skip through this section, so to keep you watching, here's Keith on bass.
I'm never gonna stop watching now.
All right, I'm interested now.
Lithuania,
Yep.
or Lietuva, gets its name from Lietus va, which means
Lietuva.
rain here, symbolizing the abundance of rain and fertile land. First of all, the country is made up of 4 general parts: the flat coast, the slightly higher uplands, the middle lowlands, and the Baltic highlands. Here you can find the tallest point, Aukštojas, at only about 293 meters in elevation, making Lithuania the
Very high
flattest of the
land.
Baltic states. Amidst everything, at over a third of the country, you will find, just like the other Baltic states, a plethora of boggy marshland and swamps, as well as forests, the longest river being the Neman, which starts in Belarus, flowing through Konus, blocking into the Konus Reservoir. However, the largest lake would be Lake Drukshai, shared partially with Belarus. Wait, did I mention that in the Belarus episode? Also, you have an island split between Belarus and Lithuania in Lake Ryčių, and 2 islands and 2 peninsulas in Lake Drukšie or Drisvati. Dang, I did a good job in the Belarus episode. I'm making my job so much easier for me. Oh, and the national animal is a stork. Lithuania also has the
Stork?
highest nesting density for storks in the world. They believe it's good luck if a stork nests near your house. They even have a holiday dedicated to them on March 25th. So anyway,
All the time.
resources. One thing that Lithuania is famous for is amber. The Baltic coast has the largest known
Oh my
natural amber deposits
gosh.
in the world.
You think they ever found a dinosaur blood-filled mosquito inside one of those amber rocks? What's gonna happen in Lithuania?
World, and Lithuania was pretty much the place where it all started in the town of Juodkrantė. I'm not even gonna try that again.
Juodkrantė.
Otherwise, much of the land is arable, over a third is cultivated. Some national dishes of Lithuania might include things like cold beet soup, stuffed cabbage rolls, that Kastinis dairy product thing, anthill cake, tree cake, poppy seed rolls, blood soup, and liliputas cheese. Para todos los que hablan
Interesting
español,
foods.
sí, sí, lo escuché también, cálmate a todos. And probably the most iconic dish, potato dumplings. Whew, got through
Those are
that
good.
section. Now, let's meet the Lithuanians, shall we? Nah,
Demos.
Lithuanians are fine and dandy like cotton candy. Remember that Lithuanian geography Giedra that I met in Tokyo? She was cool. Hey Giedra, I literally tried to hit you up for this episode to get some information, but I couldn't find your email. I don't know if you're watching this right now. Let me know what you think. Was it accurate? So anyway, the country has about 2.8 million people and is the largest economy in the Baltics with the highest GDP as well. The majority of the country, at around 88%, identify as ethnically Lithuanian. About 6% are Poles, 5% Russian, and the rest are other groups, mostly Slavs like Ukrainians and Belarusians, with a few other minority groups mixed in as well. They use the euro as their
Least
currency, the
Russian,
Type
what?
C plug outlet, and they
Yeah,
drive
the
on the right
Baltics.
side of the road. Now, if you really want to get a feel of everything Baltic,
chunk of
Lithuania
Poles.
is kind of like the epicenter. The Baltics were like the last places in Europe to convert to Christianity, and to this day, like Latvia and Estonia, ancient pagan traditions and folklore still live on through festivals, artwork, and traditions. In a nutshell, though, Lithuania was more Catholic influenced and Latvia was more Protestant influenced. Lithuania joined Poland in a Commonwealth and became at one point the largest country in Europe, while Latvia was taken over by the Germans and Prussians and whatnot. First of all, the language. As mentioned before, Latvian and Lithuanian are the only 2 surviving Baltic languages left in the world. Their older brother, Old Prussian, died out in the 1800s. And these 2 languages are ancient, like older than Greek. Half the words and names end in S, and like half of everything ends in like onus or ites. Lithuanian is disputably the oldest Indo-European language still in use. Some say it even still retains words that related to ancient Sanskrit originated in India. Yeah,
Whoa.
India. For example,
What the heck?
Agnis versus Umnis, Vayus versus Veyas, Devas, Dievas, and the list goes on and on. It's pretty strange how close the coincidence is when you look into it. Oh, and to say thank you in Lithuanian, all you have to do is sneeze. Like, literally, the word for thank you is achu.
Achu.
Now, if you don't know anything about the Baltic, this region has the highest ratio of 2 things: blonde-haired, blue-eyed people and women to men.
Oh.
Numbers usually switch off every so often, but Lithuania usually ranks 2nd or 3rd between Latvia and Estonia when it comes to male and female ratios, ranging between 0.88 males for every female. This is partially due to a number of factors, such as large portions of the male population being killed off during war times, mortality rates caused by things like smoking or alcoholism, and suicide. Here at Geography Now, we don't gloss over the controversy, but try to report it as objectively as possible. And unfortunately, Lithuania often ranks in the top 3 suicide per capita nations in the world, many times first. In a weird way, though, this dark fact has kind of put a sort of weirdly romanticized image on Lithuania and Lithuanians to the point where the people just kind of shrug and own up to it. I mean, this dude invented a euthanasia roller coaster concept designed to kill the passengers, and Lithuania was selected to be the childhood home of fictional character.
What? What? What does that even mean?
Euthanasia roller coaster, so you go so fast that you die?
I mean, if you're gonna go out one way,
thrill before you die,
you might as well go out with a bang. You know what I'm saying?
Why not just like jump from a plane or something at that point?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, skydiving. I think Lithuania has been surpassed by Korea and Japan for their suicide.
That's true. This video is maybe a few years, 5, 6 years old.
So yeah, they're not the best at that anymore, I guess.
Hannibal Lecter, add some pagan statues juxtaposed to thousands of overly ornate crosses in a swampy land, and bam, you have the perfect setting for... No, but seriously, Lithuania is not all jump scares. It's more of like a legendary place where ancient customs still live on with a valiant populace that became the first to break away from the Soviet Empire. And they love basketball. Speaking of which, history time. In the quickest way I can put it, pagan tribes, this guy unites them all and becomes king, like literally the only king in all their history. Wars with the Teutonic Order. The 1400s, it becomes the biggest country in Europe with the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. They briefly colonized parts of Africa and the Caribbean. Colonies sold off and lost. Divided by Russia, Prussia, and Austria. Book smuggling years to keep their language alive. Quick independence in 1918, but then the Russians came in again. Nazis tried to take a go. Back to the USSR. Bloodiest guerrilla war in European history. Over 30,000 Lithuanian men die. Insane revolution with all the other Baltic states. Independence finally in the 90s. Joins the EU and Eurozone. They somehow became the basketball capital of Europe, and it's almost like a religion to them. And here we are today. And speaking of basketball, some famous Lithuanians might include all these basketball players. And this one is probably the most famous. This guy who was supposed to be like the king, but died before it could happen. Painter Mikalojus Konstantinas. Director Jonas Mekas. Writer Salomėjas Neris. Virgilius Alekna. Celebrities with partial Lithuanian heritage, but it still kind of counts to Lithuanians, might include Jason Sudeikis, Charles Bronson, John C. Reilly, Sean Penn, Sacha Baron Cohen, Bob Dylan, William Shatner, Pink, Anthony Kiedis. And before we finish off this segment, some last-minute factoids. Instead of the Easter Bunny, they have an Easter Grandma. They have the highest number of hot air balloons per capita. They have their own national perfume.
They
have some of the
hot air balloons.
They lost to or Turkey lost to that? That's crazy. You always see the picture in Turkey. Dang. Lithuania, I'm proud of you.
I don't think I've seen like any hot air balloons like ever. So I wonder how many they actually have. Like if it's like, oh, you see them all over the place.
Yeah, I don't know. I've literally, I don't think maybe I've seen one in my life like flying above my house once, because there's like a tiny airport from my house that people fly like gliders from too.
I can't even like, maybe there's a chance, but it's so long ago I wouldn't even remember.
Number of hot air balloons per capita. They have their own national perfume scent. They have some of the fastest internet in the world. It's considered bad luck to whistle inside of a house, otherwise it'll explode and burn down. And yeah, that's about it for now. Lithuania. Let's talk about their friends now. Lithuania is the largest of the Baltic states, but often the least publicized. Nonetheless, some countries have managed to make their inner circle. Of course, as a member of the EU, most of their trade and business goes through their neighbors, especially through Germany and Sweden. Iceland was the first country to recognize them after independence. To get along great, they even have a street named after Iceland. The US, Brazil, and the UK each have the largest expat communities outside of Lithuania, which has only strengthened ties over the years. I just found out my hometown Los Angeles has a little Lithuania district. They love Georgians and Ukrainians because they share the same history of being part of the former USSR. They support them in any kind of political movement against Russia. They even send foreign aid. Poland is like the ex-boyfriend that they started out really happy with, but then they fought and broke up, but over time they moved on and are just friends now. Estonia is like the childhood friend that they got along with really well, but after graduation they kind of moved on, and Estonia got more and more obsessed with Finland. In the end though, their best friend, no shocker, would be their little twin sister, Latvia. Even though the years have caused the two to grow up a little differently, they still moved forward, keeping traditions alive, sharing the old mystical Baltic charm. In conclusion, Lithuania is the larger of the last surviving Baltic peoples on the planet, and it's quite amazing how they've held it all together to this day. But seriously, if you don't want to become extinct, start making babies. You too, Bulgaria. Those diaspora emigration rates are quite alarming. Stay tuned. Luxembourg is coming up next.
All right, they need babies.
Dang, a lot of those, Korea needs some dang babies too. We brought them up earlier. The suicide rate and the babies go hand in hand, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if your country's in a situation where you're pushed to, or a lot of people are pushed to commit suicide at a higher rate, you're probably less likely to be like, I'm going to bring a baby into this world.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If you don't even want to live, why would you want someone else to live?
That's interesting. But that is the end of the Baltics for us. We've done all the Baltic countries. It's a very cool area. I would really like to check it out.
My brain is filled with Baltic knowledge now. I just feel like I could like walk around. We're gonna fly there, and we're gonna go to all three of them and be like, yep, I know, it's us. Yes, we reacted to every single Geography Now video from the Baltics. Yep, that's us. Thank you.
It's give me some potato dumplings right now, and we could connect with them because we've been to Georgia, and all of them liked Georgia.
You want blood soup?
No blood soup for me. Thank you very much. I'll stick with my
I'll
potatoes.
make sure they reserve some for you, though.
You can drink it. I'll give it to you.
Well, you can't refuse my gift like that. That's very disrespectful in Lithuanian culture, actually.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. We will see you in the next video. If there's a good Lithuania video you want us to check out, let us know in the comments. But other than that, we're just going to be cranking out Europe reactions. So hopefully you enjoy.
Let us know what you can check out next. Goodbye.
Bye.